Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another episode of Sunday Morning Shred with me, Mark Murray. This is the show where every Sunday you wake up, go grab your cup of coffee, whatever you like in the mornings, you head over to YouTube or guitarguts.tv and tune in. There's an episode waiting for you every Sunday when you wake up. And today I got a bunch of really cool stuff for you. As you're watching the show, if you have any questions about things, write them down in the comments down below, and I sift through them and find the best ones and answer them on the next week's show. Every week I do a Q&A, so if there's technical questions or just questions about my guitar collection, whatever you want to know, I'll answer them. I got 3 cool guitars I'm going to be showing you today. I always like to showcase one of my crazy custom guitars from my collection. I've got almost 50 guitars, and then I'm constantly buying and selling, working on other people's guitars, so I've always got guitars coming in. I got 2 really cool ones here. I'm going to be talking to Alex from Iron Age Guitar Accessories, the guy who does all my Killswitches and custom picks. So we're going to have him on here today. We had a big Metallica super collab come out on the channel this week that maybe you saw it, maybe you didn't. I suggest you go check that out. I'll talk about that for a second. And then we're going to end the episode with a Q&A. So thanks for tuning in, by the way, and hope you guys have had a good week so far. All right, so here is the guitar of the week, right here. You've probably seen it on my page before somewhere. If you watch Trash to Thrash, you probably saw the story of how I got this. This is an LTD MH-1000. It's from their deluxe line, and man, I had never played one of these things before. It's very similar to like the Schecter Hellraisers, which, you know, I was never really a big fan of. There's a couple things I don't really love about them, the inlays and some other things, but the MH-1000s, man, these 1000 series from LTD are amazing guitars. I originally bought this because I was looking for guitars to flip, to buy and sell, to work on, fix up, all that kind of stuff, and I found this on Craigslist. And the guy was selling it for like, I don't know, it was $475 or something. I ended up getting him down like 125 off, so I got it for, I think $350 or something like that. I don't remember. I got it for a great deal though. It did have a big chip on the back, so you know, when I was looking at it, you can see there's a pretty big chip there. I was looking at it thinking I could probably fix that chip and then sell this thing. These things sell for $899 new, and I could probably sell for a couple $100 less than that and still make a couple $100 on this thing. But right when I picked this thing up, man, there's something about the profile of the neck. The heel here, there's like it's dusty right now. I need to clean this thing. The heel is like super nice, super comfortable. The thin ESP style neck. Right when I started playing this thing, I was like, oh my god, I gotta keep it. It's just, it plays too good. I love neck through guitars, and back there's a couple Edwards. I got my Rhodes. I got another MH-1000. These are all neck through. Ever since I bought this one, it's like changed the game. And I already had one neck through guitar, which was my Edwards that I showed, I think, last week on the show. And incredible guitars. Maybe it was 2 weeks ago, actually. But I love those Edwards neck through crazy shred beast machines. This thing's right up there with it. It blew me away. I had never played a guitar that fit my comfort, you know, the comfort of my hand the way the Edwards did. And although they have quite a different neck shape to them, this thing's right up there. Another thing that when I first got this guitar, it's like, I need to do a setup on it because I think I changed tunings on it recently and my Floyd is sticking up, but this thing, I love this guitar. I usually keep it tuned down a full step because a lot of the music I write is tuned down. And I put EMG 5766 pickups in it. It had the 81-85 combo, which is fine. It's a great combo, but I always like to switch things up, try different things, and I'd never tried the 5766s. Everybody kept talking about them. They're incredible. These are great modern sounding pickups. And the 8160 is kind of like more of an 80s style thrash, you know, early 90s, 80s, kind of like a scoop mid, kind of annoying to a lot of people sound. A lot of people, it's you love them or hate them. Because there's people who come on my page and they're like, your sound, your tone sucks. And then there's other people that are like, your tone is amazing. What are you getting? How are you getting that tone? So it's usually EMGs. But this one, yeah, I threw an Iron Age Accessories kill switch in there. I throw those in a lot of my guitars if you haven't noticed. It's made in Korea. It came with Grover tuners, black nickel hardware. I've never had a black nickel hardware guitar either, so when I put the 5766, I matched them, went with the black nickel, and I like it. I like it a lot. So one of my favorite finishes for EMG pickups these days. Another thing I really like about this guitar is it's kind of over-the-top flashiness. Whoa, bumping the camera here. Look at this crazy guy. If you look at the binding on the guitar, it's got abalone binding, and it's got like a cream, like a regular binding too. So that goes along the neck, along the fretboard. You can see it's got the abalone inlays, abalone binding. Probably not real abalone. That I don't really care about that. But yeah, it's just a awesome guitar. I could see why they call them deluxe, because they truly are amazing. Since then, you know, you can see behind me I got a green one. I found that one on Reverb, super cheap too. Got that one. Now let me show you a couple of these other guitars here as I take a sip of my coffee. Okay, this thing is sweet. This is a Jackson RRXMG, I believe is the model. Black. Another one that's, I think it's neck through. And this one's made in India. So I picked this up because a customer I've been talking to back and forth about building a custom guitar for wanted some type of Rhodes with 24 frets, shark fin inlays, no pickguard on top. So he had a couple things in mind, and he had a direction he wanted to go pretty custom with it. And I was looking around online, and I couldn't find too many Rhodes models that had all these features. But then I found this one, and some guy was selling it on eBay. I ended up making a deal with them. If I buy 2 guitars from you, will you cut the price a little lower? That's one way that I buy guitars and get a better deal, is bundle it up. I actually ended up buying 4 things from this guy. Some hardware, some tuners, and then 2 guitars. So that's, yeah, I hit him up, told him I'll buy 2 guitars. What kind of deal can you give me? He gave me a couple $100 off the whole deal, and I said, let's do it. Stock, it's got an EMG 8185 setup. Floyd Rose Special. Like I said, no pickguard. Blade switch. You don't see a lot of Rhodes with blade switches, so I thought that was pretty cool. Has the binding on the neck. You know, it's got the typical stuff. It's got a big chip right there on the corner of the V, but I'm going to be repainting it, so to me, that doesn't matter. Really cool guitar, though. I did tune it up. Let's see if it's still in tune. Close. Not quite, but close. So I want to rock out and make some videos with that thing, because it's totally got a kind of like gives me like a Kirk Hammett's Rhodes vibe a little bit. Kirk's has a pick guard, and it's a little bit different, but still really cool. It's actually pretty comparable to my RR24Q back here. So expect in the next few weeks me to make a video comparing the 2 guitars, because construction's very similar, pickups are different, hardware is different, stuff like that, but I think it'd be a fair enough comparison with the neck through construction. And I think the purple one's from Indonesia, this one's from India. I don't know what the hierarchy of quality is. I'm guessing Indonesia must be a little bit better. But check this out. So this is the other guitar I got in that deal. This Epiphone Gothic Explorer. So it's stripped down, missing the tuners, missing the hardware. Flat black satin. It's got a big old gouge out of the back here, which, look at this. I don't know if you could see that, but I can fix that. I'm going to probably repaint this whole thing anyways. What I really like about it is the 12th fret inlay. Roman numeral 12. That's cool. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to Hetfieldize this thing. Probably paint it like ivory or something. Maybe put one of Hetfield's famous phrases on it. I don't know if I'm going to put the ESP logo on the headstock. I don't really do that. I don't usually go out of my way to put logos on them that don't match what the guitar really is. I mean, obviously, if I sell the guitar, I'm going to tell people, look, this isn't a real ESP. But even putting the ESP logo on like an Epiphone or something, I just feel weird about that. Like, I don't know. Blank headstock is fine with me, so we'll see what I do. I'm not exactly sure. If anybody ends up wanting a custom Explorer, you know, DM me on Instagram or send me an email, and I will put the logo on if it's requested by the customer. But if it doesn't get bought before I finish it, then I'm not sure exactly. We'll see what I do. I'm not sure though. But yeah, this thing is really cool. I'm going to pop the pickguard off it. I'm going to fill the little, there's like a hole right here that's cut so that the wiring for the switch can go through there. I'm going to fill that in. and put the switch down here, like on like an ESP or, you know, the 84 Explorers. Just ditch the pick guard, fill all the holes where it was screwed in, because nobody really needs a pick guard on their Explorer unless they're like old school rockers or whatever. But for a modern Explorer, nothing like one with no pick guard, in my opinion, you know? Okay, so this last week I've recorded a ton of footage for Trash to Thrash. If you guys have been watching the show, you saw last week I built the Stealth Kelly splatter and started the Roswell. Well, I'm working on another Kelly, and I'm going to show it on next week's episode. I'm working on an Ibanez for Ben, which is a customer, a guy I met through Instagram who saw Trash to Thrash and was like, dude, you need to restore my first guitar ever. He got it when he was like 16, and it's just been sitting there, and it's already repainted. I'm going to spray the clear on it this weekend here, probably later today. And yeah, it's a really cool guitar, so make sure to tune in to Trash to Thrash this week. I've been experimenting with Crackle. So if you don't know what Crackle Paint is, it's this type of paint that you spray on your regular colors. Usually I do 3 coats of colors because, you know, you need to let the paint dry the right way. So there's a correct timing to wait in between each coat, because you don't want the paint to dry all the way. Then the paint becomes a little too smooth, and also it takes about a day at least for the paint to start to fully dry. So you really want to hit the second coat and the third coats about 10-15 minutes apart, and then the paint is still sticky, and there becomes a chemical bond between the different layers of paint. So what I do is I'll, for example, start at 3 p.m., do coat 1 of the colors, then around 3:15 do coat 2, and then around 3:30 you do coat 3. Then you wait about 45 minutes and you put on Crackle Paint. And Crackle Paint goes on, you can get it in different colors. I've been using black Crackle, and it's made by a company called Montana. They put it in a spray can. So you do your 3 colors, you wait 45 minutes, and then you spray the Crackle on. So going by 3:30 was your last coat, 4:15-ish. It says you can go up to 24 hours after, but I've seen experiments people have done online. I've done a lot of experimenting myself, and I got inconsistent results with it, so it's going to take a lot more learning to figure out exactly how this product works. But I did the body for this. This is for a Jackson Kelly. Look how sick that headstock looks. So it goes around the sides, of course. You can see the back of it here. So yeah, this is awesome. That's what Crackle does. It does these crazy, this would be considered like small Crackle lines. Kiesel and Jackson started doing more Crackle guitars the last couple of years, and they get these huge Crackle lines, and that's another thing I'm still experimenting with. The thickness of the Crackle paint that you put on determines how thick the lines that crack into it are. So I think this thing looks killer. Look at that. Very happy with how this is coming out. So if you want to see that guitar, be sure to tune in to Trash to Thrash and check out how that Kelly is going to come out. The KE3 I got. That one's another shark fin, super rad guitar. I told you guys I did a recent Metallica collab, and that's one I've been working on for a couple months because it got put on the back burner, started working on other things, started doing other stuff, kind of forgot about it, and then just recently had a couple days where I was editing a bunch of video. I found that video and threw it together. It was already mostly edited, but got like the basis, got some other things, some final touches for it, added it all together. It turned out great. A lot of people said it was one of the best super collabs I've done. And if you haven't seen it, what it is I get different people from all over the world to send me in their videos of them playing the same song with me. I'll make like a backing track where I take the drummer's drum track and then put maybe some scratch guitars over it, and then I send that backing track to everybody. I tell them to wear headphones, record your isolated audio, so it's just your instrument that we hear, and then I mix it in and cut everyone's video back and forth. And we had people from different countries, somebody from India, a couple people from Germany, a couple of different people from the United States, from all over the United States, and it came out really awesome. So I'm gonna do another Metallica collab, maybe like even once a month I might do something like this. And I put it up on my Instagram story, what should the next song be? I got it narrowed down to like 4 or 5 different choices, and I'm gonna make a poll in the next week. So if you want to be on the next Metallica collab, be sure to go on my Instagram, follow me at Guitar Guts, and then turn on post notifications or whatever it takes to make sure that you see that story, because I'm going to put it in the story and then I'm going to start telling people, let me know what part you want to play and we'll figure out who's going to be doing what. But I did one for Master of Puppets a while ago and I think I had 50 people involved in it, I'm pretty sure, which was insane. So yeah, be sure to tune in to my Instagram for the information on that. All right, well, let's talk to Alex from Iron Age Accessories. Iron Age, they make guitar accessories. You can check out their website. I'll have all his links down below. And if you enter the code GG-10, I looked it up right after our conversation just now. That's the code. You get 10% off. Guitar Guts -10, GG-10. Don't put Guitar Guts. GG-10. And get yourself a kill switch. If you watched Trash to Thrash last week, you saw exactly what a kill switch is. And if you haven't seen that episode, I recommend going and watching it, but I'm probably going to also isolate the clip so people, when they ask me what even is a kill switch, it's basically just a button that mutes out your guitar, and then you can do all kinds of cool rhythms and effects and stuff like that using the kill switch. So let's get into the conversation with Alex. We got a big announcement. Guitar Guts and Iron Age are joining up once again. So watch this. Dude, Alex, how you doing, man? I can't believe this is like the first time we've ever spoken, and we've been working with each other for like 4 years.
Has it really been that long?
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's been that long. But yeah, I think it's been about 4 years that I've been talking to you through Instagram, and I don't even remember the original how we even got hooked up together, but I've been using your products for what seems like forever now.
Yeah, it's hard to believe. Been around for quite a while. 6 years, going on 6 years now.
Was Killswitches what you started with, or other, handmade goods too?
Yeah, the Killswitches was actually where I got started. So that was the first product, and after that, I kind of started picking at the handmade stuff, and got more into that. Now it's about 50-50-ish. We do make guitar knobs, but they're not exactly at the forefront.
With the knobs, do you make them yourself on a CNC machine or something?
We have the bases made elsewhere, but we do make the tops. So the tops are made in-house using the materials we use to also make the picks.
So is that all? How do you do that by hand, or is that like a machine you have that helps you do that, or how'd you start setting all this up?
Yeah, I have a machine, the CNC machine. We use that for the guitar knob tops. Of course, the machine's not going to do all the work, so we do hand finish those as far as sanding goes, and polishing and that sort of thing, as well as fitting them and making sure they're inspected for quality and such.
So what got you started with this stuff? Did you were probably already a musician and you just wanted to start making things for yourself, or were you doing stuff for another company that you started to learn how to do this and then you branched out on your own, or how'd that happen?
Just kind of, I guess, trial and error. Really just wanted I wanted to try doing business, and so I just picked that up, try new things and see what worked.
Man, so 6 years. You've been in business a while.
Yeah, it seems like just yesterday, really.
I've noticed that you got like a hired helper now, and you're starting to like move. Business is expanding. You're always super busy.
Yeah, we got two helpers now. One of them's about full time, and the other one's part time. We've been staying pretty busy. So today's Saturday, and we actually had to work today, but that's also due to the weather emergency we had here in Texas. So we actually had a snowstorm this week. So it's been kind of hectic.
Yeah, that was national news, and even in California, I saw a bunch of stuff on it. People, no water, no power, and you're like right on the outskirts of that. Or did you have no water and no power at your place for a while?
One of my guys lost power, and lucky for him, he had a chimney, so they managed to stay warm. As far as like me personally, I got pretty lucky, so I live downtown, so I got to keep my power, water, so I wasn't really too much affected. But yeah, some people weren't as lucky, and they lost either or, and But today's the first day back to normality, and it's nice and warm again.
Is it really already warm?
Yeah. It lasted 4 or 5 days.
Unreal.
We'll be back in the 70s this coming week.
You know, one of the things that I noticed a lot of people that really catches their eye with the products you're building is obviously the Killswitches, which is so cool. I think as far as I know, the first company that I saw that was selling like branded Killswitches. I would see Killswitches around from time to time when I was younger, and I remember seeing Eddie Van Halen, of course Tom Morello, of course Buckethead, and they were using Killswitches, but there wasn't like a place that you can go to buy them other than like if you knew like electronics parts and you knew how to wire them up yourself. But I never seen a branded Killswitch. As far as you know, are you the first company that was doing that?
I think I had seen Switchcraft making Killswitches, but they weren't marketing them as an actual product. They just happened to have some switches, and they were just selling them that way. So I just took 2 and 2, and I was like, well, I can probably get a hold of something similar, right? A similar product, and I can adjust it and I can adapt it for the guitar. So that's really all I did was, identify it as a switch. The switch is a switch. So I just figured how to adapt it to guitars as far as the electronics goes. I didn't really like reinvent the wheel. I just readapted the use of a switch.
Who would you say was your first like big, you were a fan of them using the Killswitch?
I think definitely Charles from Buried Alive. So it was kind of like a natural thing since he was using Killswitches and he had purchased before. So he was a customer already. So it was very natural to like reach out to him and see if he wanted to work together. And we went from there. We developed a signature Killswitch for him. And things have been going great. We're probably going to have another run for him here in a few weeks.
Cool. I got to get one of those because I had one I got from you and I had it in my drawer for like months, never used it. And then finally I had the perfect guitar to put it on. I dropped it in there. It looked so good. And then somebody wanted to buy the guitar. And I was like, oh my God, this guitar had like 4 or 5 things on it that were kind of one of a kind. And I was like, I don't know if I want to sell it. And then the guy said, I want it. So just name a price. And I was like, oh God, okay. So I ended up having to sell the guitar that I have one on, but I love the Buried Alive Killswitch. Those things are really cool. And pretty soon there's going to be a Guitar Guts signature Killswitch, which I'm so excited about that, man.
Yeah, it's on the way pretty soon here, a couple weeks.
Awesome. I've been experimenting myself with doing custom finishes on them, and it's actually, I'm getting paint to hold on them real well, and I'm giving them like the hard nail scratch test, and nothing's coming off, so they're going to be available in different colors too, which is going to be pretty cool.
That's great. Yeah, I see your paint schemes are catching on too.
Yeah, they're starting to. I was even thinking like I got to make like a splatter Killswitch because everybody loves my splatter paint job, so it only seems natural that I'll do a splatter Killswitch at some point.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Do you have plans in the future for like different types of switches? And I'm sure you've always got ideas and things in your head. I see that you're building new products from time to time, like the little guitar pick holders and cool stuff. Do you have any ideas of future stuff that's going to be coming out?
Haven't really thought about it. I try to keep like efficiency in mind. How hard is it going to be to implement that? I guess I'd have to learn a little bit more about painting, and then be able to apply that to like a small batch of switches. But I think like a splatter paint on a black switch would look pretty cool.
Yeah, huh?
So, something to look into.
I put them on so many guitars that on my comments on YouTube, it's starting to become like a meme. People are like there's one of the people made a meme that said, it showed me asking the customer, what's your budget for this guitar project? And they said, $500. And they said they showed me again and said, actually your budget's $470 because an Iron Age kill switch costs $30. Like I always put Iron Age kill switches on every single build, and it's true, I do.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Someone recently asked me why, and then it's because I'm trying to build cool guitars that, there's not that many guitars that come with kill switches, but everybody seems to like them, and I don't see why more guitar manufacturers aren't. I mean, I'm sure in the future it's going to start happening more and more, and I see EVH is starting to do that. But I'm surprised that more people haven't caught on, especially the last couple of years with how popular like Buried Alive and certain people are with using Killswitches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought about maybe reaching out to some of those. There's a lot of guitar makers out there too, but it's kind of hard to prioritize as well. So it's either focus more on the switches or focus more on the picks. Right now we're working on a lot of wholesale orders, so it's like we're kind of stuck with one or the other. And especially now when we're working on wholesale, we don't have a lot of time to focus on the switches or focus on making a new pick. We're just kind of on the grind right now.
Any other Pick a Destiny batches coming up soon?
We still have a few on hand. They weren't as popular this year, probably because of the whole COVID thing. So that kind of hurt the sales. But we do have a few of them in stock. I think there's a couple that came in over the weekend that we'll be doing on Monday.
Cool. Yeah, I'm a big fan of those, and that's another thing that every time I post those, a million people ask about them. So I got to get posting on those things and get those ones moving off your shelf and get another batch going, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
Is this your full-time job now?
Yeah. So today we worked 9 to 5. We have the whole team here. There's 3 of us. Yeah, it's been full time. So so far so good. I'm thinking about maybe getting a 4th person here in the spring. So we'll see about that. I think the more people we get, the more efficient we make things, we can focus on other things like the custom switches and being more up to date with the new releases as far as picks goes.
Yeah, I love the picks that you've made me too. You've made me a couple different Guitar Guts signature picks, and you do awesome work. The glow in the dark filling and the logos, engraved into them. It's really cool stuff. So I'm a big fan.
Awesome. Glad to hear that.
All right. Well, I wanted to just reach out and let everyone know, and I think you don't know the discount code off the top of your head, do you, for Guitar Guts?
I think it was GG TAC 10 or TAC 15.
Okay.
Not exactly sure, but yeah, I can send it over, and it's still active.
Okay, cool. I'll put that down in the description below this, so people watching, they can go get a kill switch and get whatever it is, 10 or 15% off, whatever it ended up being. I forget now.
All right,
dude, Alex, nice to talk to you, man. It's finally cool to put a voice and a face to the name I've been chatting with for 4 years now.
4 or 5 years, man. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm coming up on 5 years on Instagram, and I'm pretty sure you were the first company that started working with me this way and hooking me up with a discount code, and I appreciate it, man. I appreciate anybody who helps me along the way, and you're definitely one of the first people, or if not the first, that really did help me. So I really appreciate it, man. I love what you're doing, and can't wait to see what you do next.
Sure, man. It's great talking to you.
Yeah, man. All right, man. Have a good one.
All right, have a good one.
All right, guys. Well, thank you, Alex, for coming on. And, man, what big news. Guitar Guts, Iron Age accessories, kill switches are coming. They're going to be really cool. I'm going to be painting some of them to match the guitars they go on. We'll do some blood splatter ones, and the next couple weeks I should be getting them in. So they're going to have my logo, the GG skull. That's actually probably down in like the corner. Which side? I don't know. I think this side. The corner of the screen, the skull with it's actually 2 G's facing each other. That's going to be etched into the surface of the kill switch, and then going to have different color painted rings and all kinds of stuff. So that's going to be really cool. Got that, and of course Goliath Studios from last week, who's going to be building the Guitar Guts pedals. So it's starting to expand the brand a little bit. All right, let's go into the Q&A. Over the last couple weeks, there's a couple questions that keep coming up on my YouTube videos. And it's starting to get to where there's so many comments on the Trash to Thrash ones that I can't comment back to everybody, but I read almost all of them. I go through it and check them. And one of the questions people keep asking me about is what's my clear coat process, because if you watch the guitars, if you noticed, I haven't done any clear coats on the videos so far. And that's because the first couple guitars I did were satin, or they were guitars I didn't even have to repaint. The paint was in good condition and I just rebuilt them. Then we did a bunch of Frankenstrats, which, you know, Eddie never did clear coats on his Frankenstrats, so I don't do clear coats on my Frankenstrats unless the customer really wants that. Then I'm fine with doing, you know, full clear coat, all that stuff. But normally I typically I use gloss paint, and then I leave it raw or relic it, but I don't actually put a clear coat on because his didn't have it, so I like to do an authentic EVH paint job. Other guitars like the Tiger Rhodes and the purple Tiger Rhodes that I did a while ago that were featured on one of the episodes recently, those ones had heavy clear coats on them. And for those ones, I used this industrial, I forget the brand, I think TCP Global, but you have to basically be in the industry to work with this company. So I think you have to have like a company, you have to have some type of business information because it's like very high-end, very potent, and it's like industry-only style. Basically, it's auto clear coat. So I would use that with my compressor and HVLP, which is high volume, low pressure. It's a spray gun, the type of spray gun you use when you hook up to the compressor. So that's what I used on the Tiger Rhodes back then. More recently, I've been experimenting, trying to get good clear coats with spray cans, but in my experience, they just never come out as good. And there's actually a guy on YouTube who makes tons of videos, Brad Angrove, that I'm going to have on here in the next couple weeks, who's going to come on, and he does a lot of paint jobs. He's like really good. He's really good with spray cans. And I'm going to have him come on and talk about some of the mistakes people make with spray paint, you know, on guitars, and how to make it look good. And I think he's had quite a bit of success with it because there's a lot of little tricks to it to make things come out right. And a lot of people always asking, I'm building a guitar, do you have any tips for me? And to be honest, a lot of it's just experimenting. You gotta get experience and you gotta experiment. So you gotta just try things, make notes, try other things, record yourself while you're doing it. So if something weird happens, you can go back and watch the video and go, oh, that's why that happened. But there's so many variables with painting that it's hard to give people tips because what level are they at? If they've never done it before, then there's a million tips you can give them, but if you leave out two other important tips, it's not going to come out right anyway. So I think a big part of it is just doing it over and over. There's a new product. It's not a new product. It's new to me. I just started using it called SprayMax 2K, and it's a 2-part clear coat that comes in a aerosol spray can, and then you shake it up. Then it's got a button on the bottom. You press this button, and it pops another can that's inside the can and mixes a second chemical in. So it's actually like the clear coat and then the hardener or the activator. And just like you would use when you use your compressor and a spray gun, like a professional paint shop would use, it's a 2-part solution that mixes together and creates a really, really nice clear coat out of a spray can. They're like 20 bucks a piece, so they're a little more expensive. No, it's like $5 a can for normal spray paint, you know, at the store, but this stuff's a little more expensive. But I mean, for 20 bucks a guitar, it's totally worth it if you want a really nice clear coat. Then of course, after you finished your clear coat, gotta let it dry. You gotta sand it level, starting at like 400 grit sandpaper or 600 grit, sand it level and just work your way up. Lightly sand it, going all the way up to 2,000 or 3,000, and then buff it out and use a compound, a polishing compound. So I'm gonna be showing all this on Trash to Thrash in the next few weeks. People are like, have been asking me about it in the comments, and you know, you can't fit everything into one episode. Another thing people have been asking me a lot about is how to intonate a Floyd Rose, because I did show that I'm adjusting the saddles on one of the episodes, but then people are like, you do know that you have to have the strings on to intonate it, and I'm like, oh, of course. I was just explaining the saddles need to be in a precise position for the guitar's notes to line up properly with the frets. So that's another thing I'll get into on another episode. They make little tools that make it actually super easy to do with the Floyd Rose. And the third thing that people keep commenting on is when I restring my guitars with the Floyd Rose, I put the ball here at the headstock. See, the ball is coming through the tuners? And people are saying, I can't believe this guy thinks that this is how this was made to be, like designed for, that Floyd Roses were designed to be strung like this. They weren't necessarily designed to be strung like that. Originally, I'm pretty sure Floyd Roses were designed to be used with a special type of string that, instead of having a ball, was like a flat piece of metal, and that would get pushed down between the the saddle block down there at the bridge. But people quickly discovered that you could just cut the ball off and stick that in where the block is, tighten that down, and that's going to hold the string there perfectly fine. Well, if you bring it from the top like I do, I've seen a couple comments about this, so it's like, I'm thinking if a couple people have commented on this, and a lot more must be thinking it. But it basically creates like a string lock. Like the string cannot slip forward anymore. And in my opinion, that's the best way to do it. It's faster. I can't stand when you cut your guitar strings at the top like this, and then there's like these little pieces hanging off there. You end up cutting yourself sometimes on the little ends of the strings. It'll actually make you bleed, and I just found that it's a lot faster to put the string in backwards at the top, give it like 2 good winds, and pull it down to the bridge and cut it. I have a video that shows me restringing a Floyd Rose in about 5 or 6 minutes, and that's one of the techniques that I found to make it a lot faster than winding it a couple times and then cutting off the excess. So I don't actually think that they were designed to be backwards like that, but I have found that it creates, you can't get slippage when the ball is anchoring it in place like that. So let's get into the questions this week, okay? Metal Migs asked, rarest guitar you have owned? There's been a couple that were not like super rare. I've never had like a super like, old vintage guitars or anything like that. I take that back. For a while, I was in possession of a 1962 Hofner Senator. And while it's not like a sought after guitar, I'm guessing that those are pretty rare these days because it's pretty old. It's 1962 would be about 50 something, 57 years old. I don't know. You do the math. But coming up on 60 years old, I guess 2022 would be 60 years old. So the oldest or the rarest one, I also have a Takamine Explorer. That one, if you've seen it, it's white with blood, and that one's pretty rare. You don't really see anybody else with those. But the one that's like the most sought after and rare, I would say, would be my old LTD Explorer. I ended up selling it because there was a time when I had a rule that if I don't play the guitar for a year, I gotta sell it, because why do I have it if I'm not playing it for a year? And I was moving into a new place, and I figured I needed to get some money saved up. I didn't want to move a bunch of stuff that was just going to sit there again, and I figured let's sell a couple guitars. Well, that's one of them that went, and turns out they're getting harder and harder to find. I don't necessarily miss it that much because I have the Epiphone Explorers now, and at the time those weren't available, but now they are, and to me they're just as good. So I don't necessarily miss that guitar, but it was probably the rarest one, I think, right? Or, this green MH-1000 back here, those are pretty rare. I've never seen another green one. I would say those are probably the rarest. I'm looking around at all my walls because there's guitars on the walls in every direction here. Yeah, that's probably the rarest. Zanye West, what is your all-time favorite guitar shape? For me, that's a pretty easy one because I love a traditional, like these two over here. Those are both Edwards guitars, but the ESP Mirage, ESP M series, Super Strat Jacksons, that's my ultimate favorite. It's just comfort, and they don't look the craziest. I love a Rhodes, I love Stars, and I love Kellys and Explorers, but when it comes down to it, when it comes to what I pick up the most, it's like this MH-1000, this green one back here. It's the Edwards guitars. That's what I'm always most comfortable playing. Rabbler 32390. Scariest / most nerve-wracking repair or mod you've had to do? There's been a couple that have been kind of scary. Back when I first started working on guitars, I did a headstock repair. A headstock snapped right off. That one was made me a little nervous. I worked on one of my buddy's Gibsons. He needed the nut replaced, and with Gibsons, the nut has like a little foot that sits out, and it sits underneath the part of the headstock. So like you have to cut downward through the nut and then pull the two pieces in towards each other and extract it upward. That one made me a little nervous, and at the time, this was like 7 years ago or 6 years ago, I hadn't slotted a nut before, so that made me really nervous. But let's see, drilling a really nice guitar for a kill switch is always, I don't know why, but I'm always afraid that when I'm gonna, I use a drill press, So the drill bit comes down from the top, and I'm always afraid that the drill bit's gonna like catch and then start spinning the guitar, like rip the guitar out of my hands and rip like a big hole in the top of the guitar. So that's why my Red Edwards over here doesn't have a kill switch yet, because I'm still, you know, it's never happened, it's never even come close to happening. If you use the right drill bits, like a Forstner drill bit, then it won't happen, but it just makes me nervous for some reason. So that's like to this day. And then of course, every time you do a clear coat on like a really high-end paint job or like a 4-color paint job or something that I've spent weeks on, and you know, the clear coat could go on, and then weird stuff happens when you paint. So you want to make sure that there's the weather's perfect, the can is in a good temperature, the guitar's the right temperature. Like, you don't want to have a cold paint booth with a cold paint and then you bring the guitar out from a warmer, like in my garage where I keep the guitars sometimes, and then there's like a 15-degree difference, you know, that could go on and the clear coat could crack. So a lot of little things still make me nervous, I would say. Maddie Miller, what cleaning products would you recommend for a satin finish? Now, I don't really know, to be honest, but I did look it up. And what people say is to always keep like a microfiber cloth near your guitar, so when you're done playing it, you can just quickly wipe it down and it'll absorb the oils out of the satin finish, because matte and satin, if you have oily hands, it's going to soak into the finish. The only way to get that out is something super dry, like a microfiber cloth. Some people say you could use like a very light damp with water. I saw some people say they use guitar cleaning products, but I don't know about that. It depends what's in them. If there's silicone or oil, which there shouldn't be, but you know, I don't know. I think just a soft cloth should do it. Maybe a little bit of water. The water should evaporate back out of it pretty quickly. Hooli97, where do you get your headstock decals? eBay, Etsy. I look for vinyl ones. I don't really like water slides that much, because some water slides have like a clear outer shape to them, and you can see that even when you spray clear over it. But I'm looking at investing in a Cricut machine, which is like this little craft making machine that it makes vinyl decals for you. So then I'd be able to make whatever logos I need, just have them on hand like that. Usmani Ed, have you tried out the EMG Hot 70s set yet? I have not. I don't know about this set, and I'm going to have to look into it. Is it active pickup? Is it passive? I do not know. So no, I have not tried those. Liam Hopkins, how cheaply could you do a custom job? So if I'm buying the guitar and I'm supplying all the parts and everything, I probably could do something for $700, I would say. Probably is the lowest. That would include like a cool paint job, but that's not going to have anything super high end. You know, it'd probably have to be some cheaper pickups, or stock pickups could stay in it. No Floyd Rose original. Probably wouldn't come with the case unless I had like, you know, an old case here that I could include in the deal. But typically my builds go for around $1,000, $1,100, maybe $1,200 if it's decked out. And then if it's super decked out, like the Stealth Frankenstrat or something, then they go up from there. But I try to keep them priced as low as possible, and you know, still make some type of profit, because a lot does go into them and a lot of time goes into a lot of these guitars. That Blue Guitarist, have you thought about making a Frankenstrat out of a Jazzmaster body? I have thought about different style Frankenstrats, like making one out of a Telly. Someone asked me that recently. I'm actually about to do one on a Jackson, which that's not too far of a stretch. But to actually use a Jazzmaster or something, I mean, if I probably wouldn't right now do that, because my time is taken up by some of the custom builds I'm working on and other customer guitars. Customer guitars always get top priority. But at some point, if business slowed down and I was looking for future projects or like cool things to do on Trash to Thrash, definitely. Storm, could you film a video about putting a Floyd Rose on a Strat? Yeah, I could do that. I actually started to document. I'm working on an OLP MM1, which is basically a cheaper version of an Axis, like a Music Man EVH style guitar. And I did put a Floyd Rose on that one, and I filmed the whole thing, and I'm gonna put that together pretty soon. It'll probably be on Trash to Thrash, and at some point I'm gonna do a Patreon page where you can take like a Squier or whatever type of cheap Strat And step by step, every week, I'm going to have a new video with showing you how to disassemble it and organize your parts, then how to sand it, then how to, if it needs like a base coat of grain filler, or if it's got dents in it and we're going to have to do wood filler, how to prime it, how to paint it, how to sand, how to everything, every step of the way. It'll be like every week a new chapter, so you could build your guitar along with me. And I'll probably buy one that doesn't have a Floyd Rose on it already, and then show you guys exactly how to do it. But there's a lot of little steps to it, and if you're only going to be doing it on one guitar, I don't really recommend it for most people, because you need special tools, you need special jigs and things. If you drill these holes 1/16 of an inch off, it's going to change the way the Floyd sits. If you drill it side to side off, the strings are not going to sit lined up with the neck correctly, and the pickups. The neck is more important than, if it's 1/16 inch over, the pickups will probably be fine, but it might not look right, it might not be lined up perfectly with the magnets, but the neck is really, you need it to be precise, because then every time you do vibrato, your strings will start slipping off the neck. So learning how to use a router, if you've never used a router, I mean, that's a dangerous tool, very powerful, and you got to route a lot of material out of the guitar to make that work. So if you're going to do it, I recommend buying some cheap guitars, practice on those first, and then do it to a guitar that you actually care about. Animal Boy King. Ever wanted to make a guitar out of plexiglass? Not really. I mean, I would as an experiment. That sounds cool. But like, if you've ever seen those acrylic BC Riches, they're see-through. Those are really cool. Danwood 20. Have you considered doing custom acoustic guitars? I haven't, because I'm not really that big into acoustics, and also it's a completely different art form than working on electrics. At some point, I'm probably going to buy a kit. I've never done a guitar kit, so I'll probably buy a kit for building an acoustic, just to figure out what the different parts of an acoustic guitar are, because I don't really even work on them that much, to be honest. I've done a couple repairs on them for people, but I have a few. I've got a 6-string classical, a 6-string steel string, and a 12-string. So I've got my bases covered with acoustics, but at some point I might build some type of kit so I can kind of get into that world. But for now, you know, I don't really play that much acoustic music, so I'll probably stick to electrics. It looks like Dylan with an X. Could you do a replica build like Kirk Hammett's Jackson Rhodes? Yeah, definitely I could. Again, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to it anytime soon, because I've got a lot of orders to fulfill right now, but why not? Definitely. I wouldn't even mind building that for myself, to be honest, because I need a nice black Rhodes. Like this one here, seeing it in person, I'm like, ooh, black Rhodes are sweet. Look at that thing. Priest Creations. Hardtail versus tremolo. Your favorite and why? Definitely tremolo. I'm a Floyd Rose ride or die. Yeah, ride or die. That's what they say. I love Floyd Roses. I do love my Explorers and Les Paul and my Gibson V over there, but Floyd Roses, man, I love Floyd's. Dive Bombs, Eddie Van Halen, and Kirk Hammett are my two main influences. Of course, Dimebag, and the way you can just express yourself with a Floyd Rose, it's like, I don't know, I just love them. Ever since I started playing and started using Floyd Roses, I've never looked back. So definitely a Floyd Rose guy. Julian C. Can you submit a custom order, such as what paint, pickups, hardware you want? Definitely. If you guys want me to build you something, send me an email, mark@guitarguts, or on Instagram, DM me @guitarguts, and I'll walk through it with you, ask you different questions about, you know, if you don't even know exactly what you want, I'll start throwing questions at you, start brainstorming ideas with you. I love designing custom guitars with people, so the more little different things that I can do to make it them is like, makes it super exciting, because it takes me out of my normal, when I build guitars that I'm going to build for the shop to just sell out there, these are just my ideas, but then when I have other people's input, it like guides me in a different direction than I would have gone in, and it's always cool to be brought in a different direction and come up with like weird different things, you know, if they have like these specific needs that I would have never thought that the masses would enjoy, because, you know, when you're selling guitars, you definitely want to market them not towards like the masses of everybody, or else I wouldn't be doing these crazy splatter paint jobs and stuff, but you want more than one person out there to be interested in this guitar. But when you're building a guitar for someone specific, they're the only one who matters. So then you can get into doing some super weird stuff like the hacks and stuff, where I chop off a horn. that infuriates people. But when people want me to do it to their guitars, it's like, why do you get infuriated? That guy wanted me to do that to his guitar. So I like building weird custom things for people, and yeah, you can submit custom. There's no order form or anything like that, but if you email me, we'll start talking about it. My contact information is also down below. So, all right, well, thank you guys for watching the Sunday Morning Shred. Contact me down below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, like this video, leave me a comment. Let me know if you have any questions about guitars, or if there's any like subjects you'd want me to cover on here or anything like that. So I appreciate you guys, and be sure to tune in to Thrash this next Thursday if you want to see some really cool Crackle and some new Japanese guitar is going to be the theme this week, and it's going to be a good one. So I'll see you guys in the next video.